Hello, everyone. It's a great day today. We're finally kicking off the long-awaited project to upgrade the Suzuki PV.
Ansia töitä, valvottuja öitä, viikkoja tiellä, saadas valtiaanilla, silmiä painai,
Hello, everyone. We're currently in the large machine shed, where the Suzuki PV is kept. Today, we're excited to begin the Suzuki PV project. I bought it just over 3 years ago on a Saturday when school ended, and it's been more than 3 years since that day. I was watching a long video, and it reminded me that many years ago, I got a Suzuki PV moped. The first video of the moped was from that time. I introduced it in the video to show how it had changed over the years. Exactly 1 year later, I released another video of the moped from 2 years ago. In that video, I showed the condition the moped was in back then, and it's still in pretty much the same condition today, with the same paint as when I first got it. As you can see, the power source for the PV is missing. It was indeed attached to the monkey. I tried making a Suzuki Magneto in the winter, but I only managed to make one video before it seized up. The engine, that is. Well, the engine itself wasn't seized, but the piston exploded. And as you can see, the moped is quite dusty now. This moped has been sitting here for quite a while now, just there against that pile of wood. It's been there for about 4 months, and I plan to start working on it soon. It looks like I can gradually begin building up this moped project now. The good thing is that the starting point for this project is really good because this moped is practically in a rideable condition. It just needs an engine and chains. When everything is working, the tires spin, the brakes work, and everything is more or less okay. But there's a lot of improvement needed. For instance, the brakes need replacing, the cables are past their prime, and I've never replaced brake shoes before. Both front and rear brakes could be in pretty bad shape. Suspension parts need to be replaced, and rear shocks need to be swapped out. Sprockets, chains, and gears need attention too. The front fork is in good condition. It's the most recently serviced part. We replaced the seals and fluids. There's a fair amount of painting work to do as well. For example, the gas tank needs to be stripped down to metal and properly painted. I've experimented with the colors a bit in the past. As you can see, there's green, black, blue, and then black again facing the rear. So, there are shades of green and black. The previous owner had sanded it down to bare metal for that reason. Initially, it was green, but I didn't really like it, so I painted it with Killicoli paint, and so, as you can see, I painted it blue a couple of years ago, but now it's back to its original black and silver look. I bought it when I was 48 years old, but later I found out from the traffic office that it's actually from 91 or was registered then, which is usually not a good thing. This vehicle is much older than I thought, but that's better for a Suzuki PV. So, it's a good starting point, but I'll need some money for it. But the number 1 is a good model year. The number 1 is quite a common PV. There are quite a few of them, and the stickers are quite ordinary. I thought that it still looks pretty similar to it, so it's quite tolerable. Usually, in projects, we aim to make the moped look much better in the end, but I think the PV looks really good in its original colors. So, we'll keep the same color scheme but do it better. I believe I've learned enough slowly. So next, I'll take it down to the downstairs boiler room, and then I'll probably start disassembling and painting it. Along the way, I'll talk about various things. Today, we've got a day at the garage, and there's still a project here, the Aprilia RX 125. Currently, it's almost ready, just needs a little finishing touch, but I think we can start the next project now, at least to clear space on that shelf. Then we can start ordering parts and buy paint from the store. So, today's plan is to disassemble the PV into parts and organize them on the other shelf. Take everything apart and put it away. The PV grass is there. On this shelf, there are other PV parts, like the PV engine, PV electronics on the couch, and I'll take off the Magic one day. I think I'll keep these electronics in practice, but I'll redo them entirely. I'll use them as a model to update the lights, descriptions, and slowly start disassembling. Well, it's not a very big job, it's just removing bolts and parts. Now, the disassembly of the Mapini begins, and, well, let's start by removing these top parts. Has the bank robber been removed from it? Indeed, at the request of the viewers, we will describe the project quite thoroughly. Even though it's basic screwing, I suspect there will be separate detailed videos of things like dismantling the engine, assembling it, and everything else. It will be detailed. But for now, we're practically tearing everything apart. These rear fenders, which were custom made, and then this side cover, come off. Next, we'll tackle these rear brake parts. Remove the brake pedal and the lower part of the brake pedal spring. This is quite tiring, putting it in place, and before that, it was quite a job. Always just with that. Yes, these memories come back when there are always bolts here. I remember those bolts used to fall off from a genuine moped. I went to a hardware store to get new bolts, and I found the right ones. But before I had the bolts, I remember tying branches around it to keep things in place for a short ride to the store. You can really see the DIY touch on this moped. those memories always come back. It was 2 nuts stacked on top of each other, and I had to tighten them properly to make sure everything stays connected. So, next, when we remove the rear axle, it comes off with it. Honestly, when I think about the last time I had to change a tire during the day, it's been quite a while. Probably a very long time since I had to repair a tire or its inner tube. It had to be fixed once, but that's it. After that, it's a good idea to wear work gloves because everything gets oily, and it's always easy to remove the axle. And then the tire comes off. We'll take all the chain tensioners and washers that fall out from in between and put them on the axle along with the nuts. It's a good way to keep everything in one place. Here we go. The PV's front axle has only one hole on the other side where you insert, in this case, a crosshead screwdriver, and then you can turn the nut. It comes off nicely. I don't remember having to pedal at the front at all, so let's just put this nut on the axle. The axles have to go, and the wheels and tires can be taken off the car. I'll cut the zip ties now, so we can get rid of it all at once. I've found some work gloves, so my hands won't get as dirty. You can really see how one can immerse themselves in this kind of work. It's not a prohibition, you see. The rear axle assembly needs to be attached to the axle. No, wait. I've probably thought about whether it's ready or not. Next, we need to remove the rear fork, and I'm taking it off now. To accomplish this, I may need a 5-way tool extension. Let's see if it fits. Next, we'll use a punch and a hammer to work on the car. With this system, you don't need to be very careful because these locking nuts have seen better days. They tend to be a bit stuck, but they should come off with a little effort. Now they are already turning easily. No need to underestimate it. Indeed, the PV's handlebar and bracket need to be removed, and as you can see, they have some rust on the surface, so they need cleaning. This part is quite expensive, but it's an original part. These bearings are supposed to come off quite easily, but probably some oil and grime have made them a bit sticky. So, this is how they come off, and there's also a dust cover. This one needs to be replaced because the dust cover has to be in good shape. If any dust gets into the bearings, it's not good. It's quite fast to put it back on. As you can see, there are some loose balls in there now. The plan is to put them into a solid bearing where they belong, but they are like the original ones. So, I had to make some kind of container to keep them safe. Let's use this lid. It took a bit of searching today to find these bearings. Back then when the moped was more expensive, like $49 or something, but these should do just fine. Now, we have a tricky spot. We have to detach the steering from the frame. Underneath, there are the same type of bearings. Some ball bearings have fallen out from there. True, there were quite a few balls falling out back then when we didn't need them, but now there aren't nearly as many. But they've been enough, as you can see. We've now disassembled the PV into parts. This is, in fact, my last summer with a moped because I'll be 18 in August. I thought, I'll make it my favorite one. I'll get the moped in tip-top condition, and then I'll plan a road trip. So, the goal is to build the Suzuki PV into a condition where it can be driven safely on a long journey. It will be a road trip day. I plan to keep the original colors, respecting what it had when it left the factory. However, I'm thinking of giving it a more modern touch, maybe upgrade the headlight and bring back the handlebar, making it a bit more modern and comfortable. A moped that's more down to earth, because I know I won't be satisfied if I make everything perfectly original and then have to buy a €3 bicycle bell for the stock handlebar. Yes, it can get frustrating. So, I believe we should do this properly and make it look stylish and modern as a PV. That's a good plan in my opinion. There are already enough restored ones out there. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding this PV project, please feel free to share them in the comments. I'll wrap up this video here, so we'll organize the PV parts on the shelf, and then we'll start looking ahead to the project. I think we'll end the videos for now and come back to the Suzuki PV in a week or two. Thanks for watching the video.